Hey guys, so I am here for my September book haul because apparently as soon as the cooler weather hits, I get grabby hands when it comes to books. I feel like I just need to hibernate or something and I need to just like prep for winter, so I just start buying. I just buy all of the books, which, I mean, while really exciting, makes my bank account very sad. So, I mean, hopefully this will be my last huge book haul month. Most likely it won't be though, let's be real. So let's just hop into it. So the first book that I picked up this month is Going Bovine by Libba Bray. I just happened to find this in a really cool used bookstore in my area that I kind of go to when we don't really have anything else to do on the weekends. We'll just go and wander around there. This is one of the few Libba Bray books that I have not read, and I love Libba Bray, so I figured I would pick it up. I just kind of started it while I was actually in the store, and it just seems as kooky and weird as all of her other books are, which I love about her. So I'm pretty excited to read this because I loved Beauty Queens. I think that's the last one that I read by her. No, The Diviners. I read that. Love that book. So yeah, got that. The next two books I picked up at Books A Million in their bargain section because that's what I do with books. I have a really hard time paying full price on books, so I just kind of scavenge the clearance area, and usually I find really good deals. Like this book, Royale Rights by Hannah Kent. I've seen a lot of people talking about this on BookTube recently, and it just sounds really interesting. I've been trying to read a lot more historical and cultural books this year, just so that I feel like I'm not reading mind-numbing YA all the time. But this was $3, and everybody's raving about this book. It's pretty much about the last woman to be sentenced to death in, where is she? Northern Iceland. And it's about her being accused of the murder of two men, I believe, and she goes to stay with a family, who kind of gets to know her and gets to know that that's not all there is to her. But it just sounds very interesting, and a lot of people have raved about this book, so I grabbed it when I saw it for $3. The next book that I also grabbed that same day, I was so pumped to find because a lot of people have been reading it, and I really want to get my hands on it, and that book is You by Carolyn Kepnes. Kepnes? I don't know. I have already read this. This is one of those books that I got home and just started reading just because everybody's descriptions of it sounded so interesting to me. And it was in hardback on clearance for like $6, and I've been wanting to buy it anyway, so that was just kind of like, here's a sign, buy the book. So I did. This book was so disturbing, I guess. It's pretty much about a man who is kind of the epitome of the creepy, stalker, murdery boyfriend that you always kind of like overemphasize guys being. He is that. But the book is told from his perspective, and it's also told in second person. So he's talking to you like you are the girl that he is like following. But since it's told from his mind, everything is kind of rationalized, or at least he justifies it in his head, and he doesn't see anything wrong with how he's acting and how he's like infiltrating this woman's life. But it was pretty disturbing. I read it in like 2 days. It was really good, but really messed up. And the next books that I got, I started reading them as an ebook from my library because everybody has been raving about these books, and I started it. I got like a couple hundred pages into it and then was like, yep, I'm gonna go buy this because I want all of my friends to read this. So I bought copies so that I could lend them out basically, and so I could actually like read the actual books. But Red Rising and Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, because they're not at all what I expected. I don't know, the people who have been reading these and raving about these books, I had a very different image in my mind as to what these were going to be like based on the people who are reading them. And I know I shouldn't judge a book that way, but these books are dark. I'm like a little more than halfway done Red Rising, so I can't tell you much about this, and it's a sequel, so I'm gonna put this down, so no spoilers. But I didn't really know much about this going into it other than people loved it. It's told on Mars. It's kind of set in the very far future where Earth has been over-inhabited and now all these other planets are kind of being homes and moons and stars. I didn't think that it was going to be sci-fi. I don't know why. I just didn't. It was also an adult book. I thought it was going to be YA and lovey-dovey, and this book is dark. There is a lot of dark concepts in this book, and it's pretty graphic. I'm not done with it yet, but hopefully I will be in the next couple days so you can hear more about my thoughts on it in my wrap-up video. So I walked into the bookstore to buy those two books. That was my plan. Walk into the bookstore, pick those two books up, walk out. Does that happen? No. So those two books also happened to be on a table of buy two, get the third free. So I was like, well, I was gonna buy those two anyway, so free book, give me. So I kind of scavenged the table and I found this book that I've kind of had my eye on for a long time, and I figured it's a free book. I might as well take advantage of the deal and just get it and see what I think of it. And that book is called People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. I've had my eye on this book for a long time, and it just seems kind of interesting. It's a kind of a religious, historical, narrative fiction. I don't know. I'm like about halfway through it. No, not even. I'm like a third of the way through it right now. It's told from the perspective of a woman who is kind of a restorer or conservationist, I guess, of old historical manuscripts and books, and she gets called onto an assignment to work on this book that is a very important book for the Jewish culture and history. So it's told from her perspective, restoring the book and discovering things about it, and it's also told kind of back and forth. Every other chapter goes to her, and then the chapters in between tell stories that are relevant to people who had the book at some point in history, and as the chapters go, it goes further back in time. So you kind of see the whole lifespan of the book up until the point where she gets it. And I just kind of thought that was a really interesting premise. So far, I'm actually I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of cultural immersion, which I think is very interesting in a book. So I'll let you know my thoughts on it when I finish it. Hopefully in my wrap-up also, because I am reading a lot, because I'm buying a lot, so I kind of need to balance it out, at least to make myself feel slightly better that I'm spending so much money on books, that I am also absorbing said books. So yeah, I'm trying to justify this. It's going poorly. But that's all that I got. There is also a huge book outlet haul on my channel if you want to go back like 2 videos and watch that, plus an Owl Crate unboxing. Literally all I have done this month is obtain books. I mean, there could be worse things in the world, right? So that's gonna be it. What did you guys get this month? Did anybody get anything interesting? Did anybody else spend as much money on books as I did? Probably not. But if you did, let me know in the comments to make me feel slightly better about my purchases. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.